Hello everybody and welcome to Dylup's workshop. This is episode 1 of the channel and I figured I'd kick things off with a very simple DIY project. Recently I was watching Adam Savage's Tested YouTube channel where he made this gorgeous LED flame lantern. I was really inspired and figured I needed to make one for myself. So as soon as the episode was finished, I went online and I ordered some supplies. But I don't plan on making mine the exact same as his. In fact, I don't even want to have replaceable batteries. I want this to be a simple plug-in lamp that runs on 110 AC. No replaceable batteries, no waste, no fuss. And we're going to start things off with this LED flame lamp bulb, very inexpensive. And we've actually had this decorative lamp sitting around our house for quite some time. I don't think it was ever even really used for candles. The only thing it's actually done is collected dust. Now I've already gone to the trouble of removing all of the glass from our lantern just to make things a little bit easier. You can see all 6 panes laid out in front of us. They're really simple to remove. There's just a few metal tabs that we had to bend down and the glass comes right out. Now let's get started with the window film. Let's have a quick look at our window film. This is mostly transparent and a little opaque. You'll see what I mean. I chose this pattern just because I knew this would be something my wife would appreciate, and this is also going to be something that's going to be in our bedroom. We wanted it to match the decor and we didn't want the lamp to be too bright. Ultimately, we're going to have this light on most of the night just to add a little bit of fire ambiance to the room. Now I've already gone to the trouble of cutting out the 5 panes of glass to fit the film, removed the backing and actually applied it, but I'll show you how to do the 6th. So it's really simple. We just take our window film, put it over our cutting surface, and we're going to take our pane of glass and line it up against 2 square edges. Take our knife, always cut away from ourselves, and always be aware of your fingers. And it's just that simple to get a pane of glass to fit our window film. Now I'm going to play the dangerous game because I've struggled in some spots to actually remove the film, so I'm just using the blade and the edge just to grab a corner and lift it off the film, peel it off. Now once we get our cut square, we actually just lay it back over the glass, wipe it on. There's no glue or water required and it's just that easy. We add our little rubber gasket so it will seat back into the lamp properly. And that takes care of our 6 panes of glass and the window film. Now I'm really excited for this part because I've never actually done this myself. We're actually going to take a little bit of paint and we're going to lightly dab it on a few spots on the lamp and immediately wipe it right back off. Now what it's going to do is fill in all the nooks and crannies with a little bit of extra color and detail and add some nice age and depth to this lamp. It looks pretty good on its own, but by the time we're done, this is going to look even better. So now that we've finished the aging process with the paint on our lamp, we're actually going to go ahead and put the panes of glass back in. Now this is going to really make this thing pop and I'm really excited to have a look. Okay, now that we have all of our glass back into the lantern, we get a better idea of how this is going to look as a final product. The window film turned out really good. All the glass went back in place, and we have some really nice natural looking detail around all the dark edges from a little bit of the paint rub. Now this next part might be a little intimidating for some people, but if you take your time, never work with any electrical wires plugged in, you will be just fine. It just takes a little bit of knowledge, and a little bit of experience goes a long way too. Now, I've actually gotten this cord from a broken lamp. I've already snipped the end, and I've gotten it ready to be stripped later on. Now, if we take a close look at our pinout on our plug, if we actually see this smaller one for a North American plug, this is our hot wire. Now, this is where the electricity comes in from the outlet. It's going to make its way around the circuit, and this larger prong is called the neutral wire, and that's where the electricity is sent back out. Now, you'll understand a bit more in a moment, but this is all that we're going to need to make this circuit work with a simple on-off switch. We have our electrical cable, we have our 2-pole on-off switch, we have a electrical socket, a small screwdriver, wire strippers and cutters, and here is our LED flame lamp. Now that I have all the electrical stuff wired, I'm actually going to give you a quick demonstration of how this works. Now, we already have our switch wired in through our electrical cord. Now, I've done this on the hot side, which is also the small pin of the plug, so that it interrupts the flow of electricity before it actually gets to the bulb itself when we want this off. Now, once again, electricity flows in through the hot wire, which is the small prong, is interrupted by our switch, and then is gone in through the light bulb and then back out our neutral wire to the wall. And it's just this simple. Not too bad. Okay, now that we have the wiring assembly out of the way, we're actually going to have to drill into this lamp with probably one of the best tools known to man. Now, this little bit, a lot of people call it a Christmas tree bit, is called a step bit. It's designed to drill multiple size holes without actually changing the bits. Okay, now that we have our hole drilled below the door, we're actually going to disassemble our switch a little bit. Now, this comes with an on-off label, and if we spin off this nut right here, we actually can remove this label, which has a little registration key on it, so you can't put this on the wrong way. That way you'll always know which way is on and off in our switch. Now we'll just take our lantern, open the door here, feed it in through the bottom, up through the hole, add our label again, put on our nut, and we're just going to use some pliers to snug this up so it doesn't fall off. Now, you can go ahead and remove the remainder of the protective film over the label. And our switch is now in place in the lamp. Now, obviously, there's nothing wired into it yet, but it's nice and secure in there. Now, I've had a closer look at this circuit, and I've realized something, that this is a conductive metal lamp. I understand that some of you picked that up right out of the get-go, but that's fine. And yes, I will add a ground prong for safety in the relatively near future. But in the meantime, I'm actually going to use this old rubber phone case, and I'm going to use it to isolate the poles of the light bulb socket from the actual base of this. And it's real simple. I'll just take a knife, just cut a small strip of this rubber, and we're going to put it just over the poles of the circuit so nothing can short out into the actual housing of the lamp itself. Okay, now we're actually nearing the end of the project. So now that we have our switch mounted in our lamp, we're actually going to do a little bit of soldering. Now we still have our exposed wires from our hot wire, and this is waiting to get wired in the middle. Now all we're actually going to need for this is a little bit of heat shrink after the joint is done. We have some soldering paste, some solder wire, and our soldering gun. Now, the eagle-eyed people might actually have noticed that I accidentally tried to solder the wires before I had the wires pass through the bottom of the lamp. That's okay. I'm not a professional. I don't expect you to be. We all make mistakes, but it's really simple to undo. I just had to heat up my solder joints and actually pull the wires apart again. Now we get to use our step bit drill again and actually drill a hole through the bottom of our lamp to pass the wire through in the bottom. Okay, so now that I actually have my wire run through the base of my lamp properly, I get to redo all of the wiring work that I had to undo just to make this happen. But we all make mistakes. It's not a big deal. Sometimes it just takes a couple of extra minutes to fix. Okay, now that all the work is actually wrapped up, this is my favorite part. We get to turn this thing on and we get to check it out. Now, I'm really, really excited with the way this thing turned out. It actually turned out a little bit better than I expected. The window film was just perfect balance of being opaque and letting a little bit of light through. It looks like a genuine fire is happening in this thing, and I'm really happy with that. We don't have any batteries we need to replace. We can just leave this plugged into the wall. It has a simple on-off switch. Everything turned out great. We got some good detail with the bit of the brown paint in some of the little nooks and crannies on this thing. Other than that, it turned out to be a really great result. So I just want to thank everybody for watching Dylup's Workshop. This has been episode 1, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future. Have a good day. Bye-bye.